Imagine this, a silent jungle, a Nilgai drenched in blood, two ferocious beasts locked in a terrifying battle, and then, suddenly, a furious lioness emerging from the bushes. In that moment, I felt that the next prey might be me. Hi friends, I'm Sharik and you're watching ManEater Chronicles. Today, I've brought to you a story so frightening, thrilling and astonishing that it will send chills down your spine. This tale has everything: dense jungle, deadly predators, looming danger, and a face-to-face encounter with death itself. Make sure you watch till the end. And remember, on ManEater Chronicles, a new, exciting and gripping story is uploaded every week, Tuesday and Saturday at 9 p.m. This incident took place about 6 months before the 3 predators of Mala Forest made their way to Pakistan. Back then, I had gone to Etah to visit my relatives, mainly to take a short break, spend some time at my in-laws' place, bring my wife along, and then return to Bombay. But fate had something entirely different planned for me. It had been a long time since I last went hunting. Business had made me sluggish and comfort-loving, and city life had distanced me from the wild freedom of the jungle, the scent of the soil, the whisper of the trees. Yet, somewhere deep inside, that old hunter still lived, ready to awaken at the slightest opportunity. The moment I reached Etah, an unexpected hunting plan took shape. Relatives gathered from Aligarh, Bareilly, Agra and Kasganj, and soon a group of 8 to 10 young men was ready. Their faces were filled with excitement, their conversations carried the thrill of adventure, and a strange sense of anticipation stirred within all of us. And so, with great enthusiasm, we set off toward Mala Forest, completely unaware that we were heading straight into a horrifying reality that would stay with us for the rest of our lives. It was the month of December, and the winter of Uttar Pradesh was at its peak. At exactly 4 in the morning, we set out from Bareilly toward the forest. The dampness of the night still lingered in the air, the wind was sharp and icy, and in the darkness the jeep's headlights trembled over the rough, uneven paths. As we moved farther away from the city and closer to the jungle, I began to feel a strange sense of freshness awakening inside me. It was as if the laziness, exhaustion, and dullness of city life was slowly slipping away. Deep down, I was unconsciously waiting for an adventure, something powerful enough to awaken the hunter that had long been asleep within me. We had traveled about 10 to 12 miles deep inside. Along the way, the silent paths, clusters of bushes, and endless stretches of trees created an atmosphere filled with mystery. Eventually, we reached the very spot where 4 years earlier I had taken down a dangerous leopard. The moment I arrived there, old memories came rushing back. I asked the driver to stop the jeep and stepped down along with 2 of my companions. The 3 of us moved forward quietly, our footsteps soft and cautious, heading toward the small mound where I had once fought a terrifying battle between life and death.
We reached the mound and sat down on a round stone. I lit a cigarette and began telling my companions about the leopard hunt from 4 years ago. We were still lost in conversation when, from a distance, we started hearing the roar of a lion and the bellowing of a Nilgai. Suddenly, it felt as if some unknown struggle had erupted deep within the jungle. At At that time of day, predators usually rest, and a heavy silence blankets the forest. Smaller animals and birds venture out in search of food, while the beasts of prey become active after sunset. But today was different. These predators were already locked in battle in broad daylight. The intensity of the sounds, the savage, bloodthirsty noise, stirred both curiosity and fear within me. Without wasting a second, I loaded my rifle and checked the new 12-bore guns my companions were carrying. The three of us began moving cautiously in the direction of the sounds. With every step, the stillness of the jungle and the shadowy canopy of trees made the atmosphere even more thrilling and more tense. After walking for a short while, we reached a patch of tall reeds. From very close by, the lion's roar thundered again, and in that moment, my heart filled with fear. We had just reached the bushes when the lion's roar echoed again, louder and more terrifying than before. It was so close that it shook me to the core. My two companions were still young boys, and their faces had gone pale with fear. Their hunting experience was limited to small animals and birds, so they were clearly not ready for something this intense and dangerous. One of them tried to gather some courage and step forward, but the other quickly grabbed my arm and said in a trembling voice, "Brother, I'm really scared. Let's go back." I turned to look at him, and it seemed like he might faint at any moment. With no other choice, I decided it was best to take them back. We moved quickly, crossing the mound and returning to the jungle road. Behind us, the sounds of the brutal clash continued. The lion's powerful roars and the desperate cries of the Nilgai echoed through the forest. The tension inside me kept rising, but the hunter within me refused to back down. Something deep inside told me that this was not over yet. I helped my companions into the jeep and then turned back toward the direction of the sounds, fully aware that something unforgettable was about to happen in that jungle, something that would stay with me for the rest of my life. I helped both boys into the jeep and then turned back toward the round stone. From the sounds, it felt like a brutal battle was raging between two savage predators, and I was about to become a witness to it at any moment. The hunter inside me kept pushing me, urging me to risk my life just to see this spectacle. I made up my mind, no matter what happened, I had to watch this fight up close. My heart was pounding fast, and the only regret I had was that I didn't have a movie camera with me. Otherwise, I could have captured this terrifying scene on film. Moving carefully, I reached the tall reeds and scanned the area. To my right, the branches of a tree spread out over the reeds, giving me a clear vantage point. I slung my rifle over my shoulder, whispered a prayer, and began climbing the tree. After reaching a good height, I secured myself against a thick branch and looked out toward the open clearing. What I saw was horrifying. A lion and a leopard were locked in a bloody, violent fight, while the Nilgai lay on the ground, drenched in blood. Every second, droplets of blood flew, and the swift, deadly movements of claws and bodies shattered the stillness of the jungle. Sitting on the tree, I watched the terrifying scene with intense focus. The fight between the lion and the leopard was growing more and more violent. Both animals were young and powerful, and every movement carried raw force, as if you could almost feel the pulse in their veins. The Nilgai lay helpless on the ground, its blood-soaked body making the entire atmosphere of the jungle even more chilling and intense. I watched in a strange mix of awe and fear, feeling as though life and death were separated by only a few breaths. The leopard was quicker and more agile than the lion, while the lion was larger and far more powerful. Each time the lion lunged forward, trying to clamp down on the leopard's neck, the leopard would slip away with incredible speed, only to strike back with its claws, tearing into the lion or attacking its hindquarters. The lion retaliated again and again, and both beasts lashed out with teeth and claws, each trying to overpower the other. Perched on the tree, I remained completely still, fully alert, taking in every moment of the scene. The sounds echoed through the jungle, and even the scent of blood seemed to sharpen my senses. A strange blend of curiosity and fear held me frozen in place, unable to look away.
I sat on the tree for hours, watching the horrifying battle between the two predators. The lion and the leopard attacked each other with full power and agility. Every swipe of a claw, every bite, every strike carried pain and bloodshed. The leopard moved with greater speed and precision, but the lion's sheer size and strength kept giving it an edge. It felt as though every branch, every leaf, and every bush in the jungle was witnessing this brutal struggle. The Nilgai lay helpless on the ground, soaked in blood, its eyes filled with fear and pain. The fight between the lion and the leopard had created an atmosphere of dread throughout the forest, as if everything around had fallen into silence and khawf. I kept my rifle slung over my shoulder and signaled my companions to stay alert, knowing that a single mistake could put our lives in danger. Inside, I was a mix of thrill and fear. My heart was pounding, yet I remained frozen in place. This scene was not only dangerous, but also astonishing, because I was witnessing, up close, a level of raw power and savagery that most people could never even imagine experiencing in their lifetime. The fight between the lion and the leopard had reached a new level of intensity. The leopard was using its speed and agility to the fullest, narrowly dodging the lion's attacks and striking back with its claws and teeth. The lion, relying on its strength and massive frame, attacked again and again, each blow full of blood and force. The jungle around us was silent, yet within that silence, the echoes of blood and fear were unmistakably clear. I sat on the tree, completely still and focused, my heart pounding faster with every passing moment. After a while, the lion managed to sink its powerful paw into the leopard's neck, toppling it to the ground. The leopard fought desperately to save its life, but the lion held it firmly with teeth and claws. Blood sprayed in every direction, and the surrounding trees seemed to shiver at the sight of this horrifying spectacle. The Nilgai lay helpless on the ground, its eyes clearly reflecting fear and pain. I steadied my own heart and gripped my rifle tightly. A mix of thrill and terror coursed through me as I realized that this battle was not just about strength, it was a raw struggle for survival, a brutal testament to the savagery of nature. The struggle between the lion and the leopard had reached its peak. The leopard used all its speed and skill to dodge the lion's attacks, but the lion's sheer strength and size gave it the upper hand. Every strike drew blood, and in the silent expanse of the jungle, only their roars and the sound of claws slashing through flesh could be heard. I sat on the tree, completely still and focused, my heart racing, every passing moment intensifying the thrill and fear inside me. After a while, the lion finally sunk its powerful paw into the leopard's neck, toppling it to the ground. The leopard fought with all its strength, but the lion's teeth and claws had it fully under control. Every tree and bush in the jungle seemed to sense the blood-soaked struggle, and it felt as if the entire forest had held its breath, watching the scene unfold. The Nilgai lay sprawled on the ground, drenched in blood, its eyes filled with fear and pain.
I tightened my grip on my rifle and, keeping the mix of thrill and fear in check, continued to watch this savage reality of the jungle up close.
The leopard made one final, desperate attempt to break free from the lion's grip. But the lion met every move with full force. Both predators lunged at each other with unmatched fury, and with every strike, droplets of blood splattered onto the ground. In the eerie silence of the jungle, only their roars and the sounds of the brutal struggle could be heard. I sat perched on the tree, fully alert, caught between fear and fascination, my heart racing and my eyes fixed on the horrifying scene below. After a while, the lion clamped its powerful paw firmly onto the leopard's neck and slammed it to the ground. The leopard fought with all its strength, but the lion refused to release its hold. The Nilgai lay helpless on the ground, drenched in blood, its eyes reflecting sheer fear and pain. The lion finally pulled its claws from the leopard's body and let out a mighty roar, as if declaring victory over the savage battle. I kept my rifle slung over my shoulder and, controlling the rapid beat of my heart, continued watching this terrifying, adrenaline-charged scene from my safe perch on the tree. In the stillness of the jungle, the scent of blood and the raw power of the predators echoed vividly through the air. The lion retracted its claws from the leopard and let out a deep, powerful roar, then slowly began moving toward the Nilgai. With every step, the bloodstains on the ground and the earthy scent of the soil filled the air. The stark contrast between the Nilgai's helplessness and the lion's sheer power created a scene I couldn't take my eyes off. I kept my rifle slung over my shoulder and tried to steady my pounding heart. The lion leapt onto the Nilgai, pinning it to the ground, and blood sprayed in all directions. The Nilgai's eyes were filled with fear and agony, and the jungle seemed to thrum with a chilling mix of tension and terror. I realized how thin the line between life and death could be, gone in just a few moments. The scene was not only terrifying but also awe-inspiring as I witnessed up close how far these predators could go in the fight for survival. I gripped my rifle tightly and, perched in the tree with complete focus and calm, continued observing the bloody struggle between the lion and the Nilgai. Every branch, every leaf in the jungle seemed to bear witness to this horrifying spectacle. The lion had its grip firmly locked onto the Nilgai, pressing its full weight against the helpless animal. The Nilgai lay trembling on the ground, utterly defenseless, its eyes filled with fear and pain. The jungle was heavy with the scent of blood, the sound of claws striking, and the roars of the predators, a combination that sent a shiver of fear and excitement through me. Perched on the tree, I watched every moment with utmost caution and alertness. My eyes were fixed on every movement. The lion used its teeth and claws on the Nilgai's body, and with each strike, droplets of blood fell to the ground. The leopard's fight was over, and the lion let out a powerful roar, announcing its victory. I thought to myself that this scene was beyond what an ordinary human could handle, yet for a hunter, witnessing it up close is a moment that stays with you for a lifetime. I tightened my grip on my rifle and glanced at my companions, who sat in the jeep, a mix of fear and awe on their faces. In the quiet of the jungle, the raw power of the predators and the echo of blood seemed to dominate the atmosphere. This moment was not only dangerous, but also a profound lesson. The line between life and death can be measured in just a few breaths. I watched closely and realized that the lion had completely overpowered the Nilgai, which was now unable to move. The scent of blood hung heavily in the jungle, and the branches of the trees trembled in the gusts of wind. Keeping my racing heart under control, I carefully prepared to climb down from the tree. Every step felt like it could be my last, yet the hunter inside me kept urging, "Don't let this moment pass. It's a rare opportunity every hunter dreams of in their lifetime." I gripped my rifle tightly and moved closer to the lion. The helplessness of the Nilgai and the raw power of the lion left me in awe. As I approached, I saw that the lion was completely exhausted, yet it still maintained its hold over the prey. In the quiet of the jungle, the mingled scent of blood, the movements of claws, and the lion's thunderous roar filled the air. I paused for a few moments to catch my breath, fully aware that this was a scene I would never forget. It was not only dangerous, but also a powerful lesson, a vivid reminder of nature's strength and the relentless ferocity of its predators. Watching the terrifying scene of the lion and the Nilgai, I steadied myself from within. In the silent expanse of the jungle, only the sounds of blood, roars, and the movement of claws echoed. The lion, exhausted from its victory, lay across the Nilgai with its eyes closed, yet the power in its massive body was still palpable. The Nilgai lay helpless on the ground, drenched in blood, its eyes filled with fear and pain. I looked at my companions sitting in the jeep, terrified and disturbed. Part of me felt pity for their fear, and part of me felt anger. I thought to myself that hunting is never just a contest of strength, it is also a test of courage and intelligence. I removed my rifle from my shoulder and cautiously stepped closer to the lion and the Nilgai. With every step, the blood-soaked ground and the rustle of the grass heightened the thrill in my chest. I looked closely and saw that the lion was no longer moving and the Nilgai's life had ended. In that moment, the jungle revealed the raw, chilling reality of life and death, turning the scene into an unforgettable, adrenaline-filled truth. The lioness growled, coiled her body, and leapt toward me. I pressed my finger against the trigger. A flash erupted from the rifle's muzzle, and the lioness somersaulted in the air before crashing to the ground. But in the very next instant, she sprang up and lunged at me with full speed. The distance between her and the barrel of my rifle was barely 6 feet when, in a panic, I fired a second shot without taking careful aim. The bullet struck her open throat. The lioness convulsed violently, rolling on the ground, writhing in pain. The recoil of the rifle knocked me off my feet, but I quickly got back up. She writhed fiercely on the ground. The bullet had passed from her throat into her stomach, sending tremors through her massive body. Her tail lashed across the ground like a whip as she struggled to rise. I stepped back a few paces, aimed carefully at her head, and with a third shot, ended her life. Around me lay the lifeless bodies of 3 fearsome predators, while the cold winter wind whistled past. The jungle offered no mourning for their deaths. For a long time I stood silently, staring at the corpses, reflecting on how small the distance is between life and death. If my first shot had missed, it would have been my body lying there instead of the lioness. I hurried toward the reeds, shouting loudly for my companions, but there was no response. When I reached the road, I realized it was completely empty. No jeep, no companions. They had likely fled in fear. Their cowardice made me both laugh and feel a pang of regret. Friends, this was the blood-curdling story of the 3 predators of Mala Forest, where the line between life and death was only a few moments. I witnessed it all with my own eyes, and every moment felt as if the jungle itself was holding its breath, watching the scene unfold. This story reminds us that the power of nature far exceeds human imagination and that every single moment is precious. If you enjoyed this story, be sure to like and share so others can also experience this terrifying and thrilling world. Most importantly, subscribe to ManEater Chronicles, because every week, Tuesday and Saturday at 9 p.m., I bring you dangerous, astonishing, and adrenaline-charged stories like this one. Friends, if you want to witness real courage, ferocity, and fear in the wild, subscribe to this channel. Every week, Tuesday and Saturday at 9 p.m., I bring stories that will send chills down your spine. Don't miss this opportunity.